Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Smart Contact Crypto, where smart people come to contact crypto. My name's Jonathan. If you like making money in crypto, then welcome to the club. If you think there's more to that than in crypto, then make sure you hit that like button, ding the little bell, and hit subscribe all. Also, leave comments so we can get this channel off the ground. We are a relatively new channel where smart people can come to contact crypto and be safe. It's not about are you far left or are you far right or are you far up or are you far down or are you anti crypto or are you pro crypto, et cetera, et cetera. This is all about nuance and really understanding the issues and coming up with the best solutions. If you don't, if you cancel one side, then your side's going to get canceled next. It's a slippery slope, and so it's very important to hear everybody and come up with the best solutions. Um, the little bit of information on what an IQ really is. And so it came up. There was like a French guy that came out. His name was Alfred Binet, something like that. And he came up with these, to see who would need more um, assistance in school and learning. And it's still used to this day after um, heavily being scrutinized. And so back whenever I didn't do my homework a lot whenever I was a kid, and so they tried to put me in low IQ classes, um, but you had to test below a 70. I ended up testing above a 160, and so that was the key defining moment in my intelligence life. I was never too concerned with it, considering I knew I was smart, considering like the video games I'd play and stuff. But anyways, so this is where smart people come to contact crypto. And it doesn't matter where you actually fall on the range because there's all kinds of different intelligence. And so you could be up here and not be able to see that you're hurting somebody's feelings while somebody here could, for example. And so there's all kinds of different intelligence. I'm not saying that this is, like I said, we're all about nuance here on this channel. So let's do a quick market watch. Um, we used to talk about Luna on this channel a lot, and Luna's doing great today, and it's doing okay on the week, doing great on the week. But you got to remember, it was a fun ride until it just fell off. Um, and so Bitcoin, it's holding at 20K. Um, let's do all on this one. So this is really a key level here to talk about the prices and where I think we're going to be going. The all-time high was right around 20,000. There was right before the major takeoff here, it hung out at 20,000, because people are wondering, a lot of people short here, but then it took off and then it went up to the 40K range, so it doubled, it went up 100%, and then there was the first big sell-off because it was pretty much all green from March of 2020, and then that was like the first major like sell-off at 40,000. And so these are all things to keep in mind. Then we shot below this. We went to like 17,000, no, almost no price support at 17,000. Um, and so that's the question. Is the bull run still going to go on? Is the argument that this is the bottom is pretty dang bullish. And most likely we are going to dip down a little bit more due to the horrible macro environments with inflation and the big one to me, the war. And so I'll do a quick little look on Ethereum. Mind-numbingly low, still above 1,000 though. Let's not forget, there was a time in the past month where it was, well below 1,000. Well below. That had to have been a good buying opportunity. And we have, let's look at Cardano really quick. It's at 48,000, similar market action, not quite as bad as Ethereum or Bitcoin over the past few months because it's been going back down over the past several months. But things that have me bullish are like the fact that Buterin has come out and said, the leader of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, has come out and said that he's pushing their merge from proof of stake to proof of work to proof of stake until August. And then Cardano moved their big fork from the from June to the end of July. So maybe the big names, some of the people who might know a little bit more than us, are looking at that time frame to be whenever there's a major bull run, because you don't want your big news to come out in the middle of a bear market or in a bear trend. You want it to come out in a bull market or at least a bear trend. And so that's something to keep on your radar. And this is not a full 5 things video. This is me just kind of doing things a little bit differently, having a little fun. This is a new channel. We have not been that long, so I appreciate all your support. We are a community-driven channel. I'm going to go into that a little bit right now too. So this is from SF Gate, Svigate. 6 questions to ask about, starting your crypto business. Does your new business solve a problem or address a current need? Yes. People need to know about crypto. This is an emerging market, very exciting. It's going to revolutionize everything. I think it has the potential to bring us together in a way that we really couldn't have fathomed before when it comes to the right and the left and the poor and the rich and everything else. So yes, it's definitely needed. Now, how does your product stand out from the crowd? So I'm not the only one that understands this need. I watch channels like, um, Coin Bureau is, if I had to pick one, probably the all-around best. Crypto Kirby is my favorite when it comes to technical analysis, even though he's a total jerk. When it comes to technical analysis, I also like Crown's Crypto Crave. I like Tom Crown. I like um, Crypto Face. All excellent technical analysis. Um, Gareth Soloway. And then there is other channels I like a lot, like Lark Davis. He's great on Polkadot. Elio Trades, great channel. He doesn't put out enough videos, I would say, but especially whenever things are really hitting the fan. But definitely a great video, great insight. Big fan of that show. Altcoin Daily, they're also awesome over there. BitBoy is a whole institution in its own, so that's one that I watch too around the blockchain. Um, Cryptos R Us, overly, overly bullish. That's an example of somebody who was telling you, to have diamond hands all the way down. And diamond hands at 60, diamond hands at 50, diamond, at 40, diamond hands at 30. Um, Paul Barron Network's one I really like, but talk about technical analysis. He has Elvin Aldo on there, the worst in technical analysis probably in the world. I mean, I think he called the bottom at like 40,000. So yeah, don't listen to him when it comes to technical analysis or really anything. He's tall and he's rich, but Evan Aldo is not great at technical analysis. I don't know how he got so many, how he's moved up so much. Okay, so I would like to think my competitors will be my friends though, because we are taking on something a lot bigger than us. So whether you're on the right or the left, if you think crypto is the future, we can come up with results. I don't want to be talking about abortion. That should not be the fight of my lifetime. You know, um, that was generations before me. Guess what? I want to be more like El Salvador when it comes to things like crypto. I don't want to be more like El Salvador when it comes to things like a woman's right to choose. And so we can bring people together. We can bring people together. The people who the mainstream media and the Washington elite want to keep us divided on things like abortion, trans rights. They don't want us to focus on things like wages and equal opportunities. And so crypto can help get us back on focus. Like I think anybody who doesn't want an abortion or does want an abortion would greatly like to have their wage raised either way. Um, uh, People who don't want people to have abortions probably would, if their reason for not wanting abortion is being poor, would be like, oh, well, maybe you could make more money, something like that. And so we need to focus more on things that can unite us, not things that can divide us, and especially not things that are invented to divide the poor. You know? I'll tell you one thing, there ain't a single rich person that's worried about not being able to get an abortion. Not a single one. Not one rich person is in any their mind space did not change in the slightest on if they're going to get an abortion or not. It's only affecting the poor. And so my product stands out from the crowd in the fact that I do care so much about journalistic integrity. I do have a degree from Texas State University in journalism, mass communications, and digital and electronic media. I am not afraid to talk about the main issues um, because of any pushback I might get from a political party. I have an extensive history in rock and roll entrepreneurial work right there, going out, getting shows, being artistic, as well as politics. I've worked on political campaigns since I was 18 from all over the board, and I'm gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work together. Also, I haven't a lot of the other big channels are already rich. Either they started off rich, or you look at BitBoy, it took him 9 years to get all the way to where he is. Well, I'm starting on the lower end of that spectrum. I'm going to be making these mistakes with you, and we are going to make this together. I'm not going to say like, hey, turn on this channel. I'm going to tell you what to do. We're going to do it right every time. But when we do get it right, we're going to get it right together. I already went over my competitors. They're going to be my friends. Can I do this alone? Absolutely not. Yeah, I can do some of the editing. I can do some of the entrepreneurial stuff myself. I can do the research myself. But this is a community-driven channel, and I need all of you, and not to mention the mass adoption that's going to take, a few billion of us to do. So I cannot do this alone. I can't even come close to doing this alone. I'm also going to need to make all kinds of partnerships. So no, I can't do this alone, and I acknowledge that. But there's a lot I can do alone. How long am I willing to stick with it? I plan to be in crypto for the rest of my life. Um, I know a lot of girls don't like to hear that, but based on my understanding, once you actually start making money and you have the money, then the girls actually don't hate crypto as much. But I do plan to stick with it. You've seen my songs. The wife and house will be back in the next bull run if you didn't sell the top. And where will I fund my business? So, now you're ready to ask, the final question, funding. It's important. Your project may not appeal to people closest to you. And so, yeah, I'm gonna have to find some funding. So hopefully, maybe some wealthy investors can watch this and get in early. Like if you try to get in on Coin Bureau right now or something, they're gonna charge you, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. You could get in a lot easier here. That does not mean I'm for sale. I will not accept money from anyone who will compromise journalistic integrity. There will never be a sponsored content from a coin. I'm never going to be like, and today's sponsor is going to be, XXXXYZ coin because here's what they're doing today. Never will happen. Like maybe an exchange, anything that I can back up with complete honest, letting you know they're paying me and letting you know um, the actual truth about them, then yeah, I mean, I'm here helping the crypto space if you want to help me back, but I'm not going to accept money and compromise my values or your values or our values or this channel's values. And so we're here to stay. We're here to stay. And so as long as there is still a war going on in Europe, and as long as there is a nuclear conflict on the table in Europe, we this is going to be the main focus. Everyone else likes to talk about how inflation is the main thing and nothing's going to fall till inflation, and that holds a lot of weight. But as long as there's a major war, as long as there are people talking about how there's an existential threat to the lives of our closest allies and an imminent world war. I mean, there's been an imminent world war for like ever, but not to the point where there's actual people dying in Europe and them talking, Russia talking about potentially using nukes, things like that. And so we're going to be talking about that. And one thing I wanted to show also, um, So here would be a good place to get some news, right? New York Times. Get some. No. The New York Times refuses to share information, even though they are one of, if not the most wealthy news organizations in the world. They are like this with the mainstream media. I mean, they get so much corporate and governmental support from both sides of the aisle, from global institutions. They are one of the most disgusting news outlets, and they want to get your Google, they want to get your Facebook, they want to get your Apple ID, they want to get your email. They will do not want to give you their biased, trash information unless you give to them, unless you give more to them, and it just sickens me. It just sickens me because there is real journalism out there that need this kind of information, need this kind of support. And the disgusting New York Times isn't going to give it to you. And so I will go to any other news source. And so here's CNBC. And I'm not saying CNBC is great, but at least they're not disgustingly forcing you to give their information. And so, yeah, Ukraine, here's the big news from Ukraine today. Apparently, there was attack on a mall in a central Ukraine region. And so Zelensky, just like every other episode that I've done, he's asking for more weapons. This could potentially could be a war crime if you intentionally attack civilians. That is a war crime. Of course, all is fair in love and war, but that doesn't mean there's not repercussions. And so when I was going through this article, here's the part that really struck me, which I wasn't aware of. Over the weekend, Russian missiles struck Kyiv, which is the capital, and the port city of Odessa. Um, no, that's not talking about Odessa in Texas, but on the Black Sea. So that means this is not wrapping up. I mean, if you want to be contrarian and be like, well, if they haven't attacked the capital for so long and now they attacked them again, that's the end, right? Not necessarily. That is way too contrarian. Um, if you're attacking the capital, now it obviously wasn't a main attack. I think it had a single missile, but um, Russian missiles struck the capital. That's not what we want to see. We want to see it be heavily contained in the east to where there was at least a strong Russian sentiment beforehand, and then that's going to be where it starts dying down. Um, so keep that in mind whenever you're doing your investing. They're still bombing the capital of Ukraine. On the positive end of things, though, I mean, I don't have the articles up here, but over the past couple weeks, we've had several European leaders go to Ukraine. I know the French leader went, Macron went not too long ago, a few weeks ago. Boris Johnson of England went. We've had people from the United States go over there as well. Um, so much going on. And so that's what's going on there. Still ongoing. I'm not seeing this lift up over the next week. I do a video every week, and I definitely, if you watch this channel, you'll be up to date, at least on the very bare minimum of what's going on in Russia, in Ukraine, in Europe. And it's heavily affecting the US dollar index. It's making the US dollar index go up because it's hurting the other or the other fiat currencies in the US dollar index that it's traded based off of, and which is going to be like the euro, the pound, the Swedish currency, the yen. And so as long as those are going down, the US dollar is also going to be going up. And so these are things to keep in mind. A lot of people think the US dollar index has a lot to do with the Bitcoin price. Oh yeah, and the other big news that today, like the biggest news of crypto was, let's see, crypto news, just to see what pops up. All about, wait, what? 19 minutes ago, I haven't seen this one. Here, let's do this. So this is the big news from Google. When you search Google anyway, everything's about FTX, 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 FTX. Apparently saying they're buying Robinhood. So I did a story on this weeks ago, but apparently it's news again. So yeah, FTX exploring a deal to buy Robinhood. And it wasn't just me. A lot of places, a lot of other shows did stories on this. They were talking about um, how, oh well, we thought FTX was already going to go into the stock thing anyway, so it would make sense that they're going to buy Robinhood. I don't know. So ongoing story that everyone's acting like it's brand new. Again, that's why I'm more about journalistic integrity rather than sensationalism. I think I want to be like, oh my God, could you believe FTX is thinking about buying Robinhood? No, we already did this effing story. And I looked at this one. This one's pretty interesting. It was talking about how the FTT is a DAO, and so they might do things independently from Bankman-Fried. Um, and don't forget, FTT is the token of FTX, the FTX token. And also, it's a one to consider accumulating in the bear market because BNB obviously has had its glorious rise. Crypto.com and the Crow coin had a lot of rises. I mean, right now it's like let's see, what is it at? I mean, right now it's at 12 cents, which is what I was going to say, and that went up to almost $1. I mean, at one point, and so yeah, it got up to like 90 cents. So there's a lot of these have had their rise. FTT has not had anything like that yet. So it didn't have, like another insane rise, beyond this, like you saw with Crow. So it might still have a major run to take it. Like, what's its market cap right now? Yeah, market cap of only under 4 million. I could easily see that rising in a bull run, fully diluted 10 million or so. And so keep that in mind. Robinhood stock apparently went up really high today, went up like 16%. So in the news of this, it's a nice little bear market rally. Since then, Bankman-Fried came out and said he didn't have intentions of buying it. But this rumor has been going around for months. This is not new. Now let's look back at this. Now this was brand new. KuCoin launches Euro trading pairs to make crypto transaction easier for European markets. And so right now I'm just kind of going over it. Okay, yeah, okay. No, I have heard about this, that they are doing the European trading. Coins, leading global currency trading, will offer Euro trading against BTC, ETH, and USDT by supporting these Euro fiat trading pairs. KuCoin strengthens its presence across the European crypto market, lowering the barriers of buying entry. So great for crypto. KuCoin, one of my favorites, if not my favorite. So they're pushing the bounds of crypto adoption, making it more accessible to people in Europe, which is great, especially with everything that they're going through right now. Building in the bear market, which is what we love to see. We're seeing this from KuCoin now. We're seeing it from Binance. We're seeing it from Kraken. And so, I had actually an interview at Coinbase before they stopped hiring and then fired like 1,500 people. And so, yeah, a lot going on in the crypto space. Oh yeah, and let's not forget Voyager. That's a major crypto move that I've done recently was I took almost all my money off Voyager and moved it. And it was about a week ago, and it still hasn't gotten to my bank account, so I could redeploy it to another coin, another exchange, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm very wary of Voyager right now. They're still offering 8% on your stable coins. Nowhere else is doing that because the ones that were like Celsius, uh, they went out of business, and every single one that's done anything close to that has either horribly gone out of business and stopped trading. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Voyager is still doing this. I mean, there's no way in the depth of a bear market they can be offering 8% back after all these other ones have stopped doing it. And so they're the only one. So anyone who's still stupid enough to believe that that's a thing is going to be flocking to Voyager and just see it happen to them as well. So either people are going to have to become smarter and realize that that's not a legitimate thing and let like a few people in retail take advantage of that 8%. Or because if big money keeps, putting money that could potentially go to a bank account where you get like 0.00, percent back per year, um, it's it's going to break if they try to come to crypto and get 8% back on their USDC on Voyager right now. And so I got almost all my money out of Voyager. Now, all my most of my money had already left because that's where I kept my Luna, but now that's all that's on there. I got my Avalanche, I got my Elron, I got all the other coins that I had on there. Yes, I sold them deep, deep in the bear market. Um, but a week later, still hasn't gotten to my bank account, and so that's an annoying thing about Voyager. So it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Of course, I wish it would have sold a lot higher, but that was one thing that kind of held me back from it. The fact that you have to wait for it to hit your bank account, and it has such awesome coins. So I like Voyager. I hope they pull through. I hope they can be the one to figure out this regulation. Celsius couldn't, Luna obviously couldn't, and so maybe they can be the one to figure it out and then kind of be a blue chip amongst these. They have zero trading fees, similar to Robinhood in that way, and they're a good company. I like them. I just don't trust Brett or what's his name? I definitely was going to say his name wrong. Stephen Ehrlich. Stephen Elric. I don't trust him. He has, these kind of like dark, beady, shifty eyes, and so I've always had issues with him. Always. Just for the way he looks. He looks like he'd be ready to run a scam. Just has that look. Though everything else about Voyager and their game plan is and their mission statement is beautiful and awesome. So I'm rooting for them. I took most of my money out, but I kept everything Luna related. My 500,000 Luna are still there. My 16 Luna are still there. Luna 2 or whatever are still there. And so we'll see what happens with all of that. But so basically, most people are saying that we're going to keep going down a little bit more, and there's like a 1 to 2 year bear market, which gives you a lot of time to sit in and think and buy. Um, a very contrarian view that I'm not totally against was that a combination of this being, the false top theory. So, I'm on FTX again. I'm like, why is none of this making sense? And BTC is always the greatest representation of the entire crypto market. And so there are definitely some people saying that this was the true blow off top, and this is a false top, um, because this is where retail really was. Honestly, I think that's true, and that would mean that we've already come close to where there would be a bottom, and that we're on the way up. I think that's true as well. But what takes it down though, because there was a false bottom theory and all this, we're still in these insane macro environment times with the inflation and with the war in Ukraine, along with the potential blow up top of capitalism in our 100-year debt cycle. But all of that said, there is a very real chance there is some type of serious price action to happen later in the year. Um, but it's just so uncertain at this time. And so if you're enjoy the volatility, if you plan on holding for the next few years, try to buy Bitcoin below 20,000, find your price targets, and then just hodl, because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's all it takes is Russia to back off, there to be some kind of general understanding between the two, us to make some peace with Iran, who the United States backed out of the deal that we had with them. There was a deal, we were both complying, and then the United States backed out. And so hopefully we could somehow rectify the disgusting acts we did against Iran. I mean, disgusting acts we did against Iran. So hopefully that can be resolved somehow, and we could see gas prices go down. and they could all be mixed in with like fears of a recession, and then they start printing again. I mean, that would be the best case scenario. There's still possibility for all-time highs by the, in this bull run. But it's not likely, definitely not something to bet upon. Keep tuning into this channel to learn more and more, to understand the macro environment. If I come on here and I start telling you, looks like war is turning around in Europe, that's going to be good news. This is where smart people come to contact crypto. Thank you so much, all you lovers and all you loners. Like, ding the little bell, hit subscribe all, comment. Thank you so much, and goodbye. I'll see you very soon.